Alright, we're back again. We're going to put together this Molnija 3602, I think it is. I got a little bit of, first thing we're going to do, we put some grease in that center part there, right in the middle of the movement. And we're going to drop in this wheel. I'm sure everybody knows what it is, but I know I don't, because it doesn't matter. And then we have our cannon pinion in our pin vise with a little bit of grease on the inside of that. And we're going to mate that up just like that and snap it together. So this will be out of the shot because it's not close-up work. Makes a nice little snap as it goes in. And there you have everything started out, so to speak. Not everything. We're just starting. So, like a lot of these movements, I like to start with the Mainspring Barrel. Put a little schmutz on that. Excuse me. We're gonna drop in that massive mainspring. Let's pull back. There you go. You don't need it that tight. Besides, I got to work around this thing. Okay. Next, we're going to let's put some schmutz on the top of that. On the top of that arbor. I already took care of the click. Are we in the shot? There you go. Might have to pull back even more. Okay, I already took care of the click. Pretty straightforward stuff. Cleaned it, oiled it, put it back in. Okay, now we're going to screw down this mainspring bridge. There's more than one way to put these together and take them apart. Some people like to do the keyless works first and then put in the gears and then your main bridge. I've seen that done with other movements. It all depends on what you like, what you want to do. Is there a wrong way to do it? Probably not, because if it works for you, it works. Nobody's going to come and say, well, you're doing that wrong. Well, too bad. This is the way I do it. If you don't like it, you don't have to like it. That's just me. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible and not to be so long-winded and not drop screws, but you know how that goes. Not so good. Okay. I like to be consistent in the way I put things together and take them apart from movement to movement, because it gets into a habit. Do the same thing over and over and over. After a while, it becomes second nature. So now I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to work on that keyless works. Again, some people like to do that first and then put the bridge in. That's fine. You'll see all kinds of stuff. You could develop your own technique. I've seen people build from the balance back to the mainspring, and they can make it work. I don't like doing that because I want to see how gears are pivoting before I put that pallet fork in and lock the escape wheel. But that's me. We're going to put some schmutz on this, a little schmutz on that. Schmutz being in grease, oil, lubrication, whatever. I call it what I want. I call it schmutz. Okay. The reason I like to put that bridge on first, the main barrel bridge, mainspring bridge, is when I drop in these keyless works gears, they don't fall through. And then I put the main stem in to just hang on, main stem, winding stem, just to hold on to them for a bit. Got a piece of dirt there. Can you see it? Yep, very tiny. Where'd that come from? It's fuzzy. Okay. I like to lubricate things as I go. We're going to put a smear of schmutz right there. Okay. Okay, we're in the shot. Wasn't sure. Just don't drop anything. Simple enough. Another place I like to put a little bit of grease right there on these points. They are contacting there when you operate the keyless works. Alrighty. Next is our spring. Springs are going to have their own way, your own way of putting springs in. Some people can do it with just tweezers and a screwdriver. I'm not so dexterous. Is that a good word? I'm not that good. So, was that in the shot? Let's hope so. Okay, here's our spring. It's leaning up against the lever, and I just gotta snap that part in right there. So I'm gonna come around here with a finger, hold on to it, maybe I'll do it this way. Put the short end first. Nope, that didn't take. Come on. You may develop your own technique for doing things. I do what works for me. Sometimes it doesn't work and I lose a spring, or it goes flying. Hopefully I got a spare, or I can find it. Alright. Wow. Surprised it was in the shot. Didn't think it was. Does that go here? What? Oh. Yes, it does. It just looked funny. Don't mind me. I haven't had a drink yet. Alright, there's our minute wheel. I believe that's called. Make sure everything's in mesh. I'm not going to operate those keyless works just yet because I don't want that spring flying out. Okay, there you go. You can see everything's meshed together. Easy enough. 2 screws will capture everything if I can find them. Okay. I don't know how many parts I'll do this in, probably 2. Usually takes me 2 parts because I get long-winded, and working around this camera can take some time. It can be quite tedious. It's tedious enough work doing doing this without having a piece of equipment constantly in your way, and you're trying to look at the screen and put a screw in and make sure it's focused. Big movement though, so that's a plus. Big movement. Okay. Last place I want to put a little schmutz is right on this mechanism here that will operate back and forth when you go to operate your keyless works. There it is right there. Ah, that's not good. Ah, there it goes. I didn't have it snapped in. Okay, there's our hand setting mechanism. That's working good. And here's the winding part. Looks good. Okay, we're going to turn this back around. We're going to get some gears in here. Don't ask me what they're called. Well, I know what the escape wheel is. After that, I honestly don't know. I think this one's first. It may not be. Maybe this one should have gone first. I think this one goes. Oh, I got a piece of fuzz. Where does this stuff come from? Yikes. I'm sure everybody saw that. Maybe this one goes here. No, it does not. This one definitely goes here. Okay, see, that fit better. Let's slip this one in. See, it's always something. Let's try this. Hey, look at that. That's looking pretty good. Didn't that take forever? Nobody said I was a genius. Certainly not me. That one just doesn't want to settle. Come on. Good Lord. What am I doing wrong? There it goes. It's one of those things. Some days it works good, other days it fights you. If it's man-made, it's prone to failure. Alright. We can take this out. the escape wheel, now that I remember. See, this is why it's going to get long-winded. Because I keep redoing things. The escape wheel has its own bridge. Jeez, come on. There you go. Alright. We're going to put in this big bridge. Intermediate bridge. Whatever. Something tells me that's not right. I think this is upside down. Here's how I know. That long shaft holds the second hand, so we need to put that in first. Does that look right? I think so. That makes sense. Sure. How did I remember that? Who knows? I don't do many of these. I thought I never did one before, but apparently I did one last year if I remember. It was his father's. It was an older one. Told him I'd have a look at it. Just can't remember who it was. Oh boy, look at that. Look at that. Just drop right in. Look at that movement. Slick movement. Well, that's a good sign. It didn't fight me too much. Alright, we have 3 screws on that. Yeah, I probably could have taken another 5 minutes off of this video without the undo, redo stuff. Now that's life. So I'll do this in a couple of parts. So what? Alrighty. It's a Monday night. And Mondays are a mess in the lab. Always. Sorry, I don't have any jokes for you. Ran out of jokes. Okay. We're going to get this train running, or in place. That doesn't feel good. That screw. That screw did not want to go in all the way. It's starting to tighten up on me before it bottomed out. Ay, ay, ay. Need my better tweezers. So I don't know what's going on here. That one's sitting a little high also. What is going on? That one's good. It's very odd. The screw appears to have a burr on it, on the head. Very strange. Yep. It's a little tiny burr. I don't know if you can see it. I'll have to zoom in later. Wonder why that would happen. This one appears to be doing the same thing. Alright. This is definitely taking too long. Let me have a look at this in a loop. Appears to be a burr in there. Okay, let's try maybe one of these. Don't remember it being tight coming out. These do have a pretty close tolerance. That one's a little better. Well, that's a lot better. Alright, who knows? Maybe that screw is made for that hole. Who knows? That one's good. That one's good. Alright. How's our movement going? Look at that. Look at that move. Just touching that. Just touch it and it moves around. Beautiful thing. Okay. Now before we go to the escape wheel, those jewels don't get oiled from the back side. They get oiled from this side. So I'm going to put a drop on, well, not even a drop. Some Mobius in here. Oh, wait a minute. Does this one go through? Yes, it does. I'm thinking of the bridge part of it. This part. That's the escape wheel bridge. That does not have a jewel that goes through. So we need to oil that from this side. There we go. And then our escape wheel. That's right. These have their own bridge. Get out of the way. Which is kind of nice because now you have just one jewel to deal with. To line up. Are we in the shot? Okay. Look at that. Just touch that movement and it spins beautifully. Hopefully it keeps good time when we're done with it. You never know. I think it will. Okay. Test it again. Give it a nudge. Yep, working good. Now let's put some schmutz on those bigger bearings. Bearings, jewels, whatever you want to call them. Let's get our tiny oiler here. This is going to take a decent amount because it's got a big jewel with a big shaft coming through it. That'll make it nice and quiet, make it run smooth. That's where our second hand's gonna go. Okay. Let's finish this side, and then the next part we'll do another part for this, because there's a certain way to oil the oh my goodness, 25 minutes. Good Lord. Too much yakking. No, nobody said. Well, I always said I'm not a pro. I'm not setting the world on fire with my pace. Very nice. We're going to tighten that later. And if you remember, this had a bushing. That's that right there. Are we in focus? Yeah, sorry for the long-winded video, people. These things happen. Put a schmutz there. A smear of schmutz. Winding gear, I think it's called. Should be a lefty, and it is. So we are going to loosen that in order to tighten it. There we go. Outstanding. Now let's lean on that gear, or that screw there, lock that gear and tighten this up. And there you go. We're going to end this because we're 27 minutes in, and we'll do the next part in the next part. How's that sound?